On November 13, 1974, at exactly 3:15 in the morning, Ronald DeFeo Jr. returned home. He looked staggering, as if he was drunk, although he had never drunk alcohol that day. He did not enter through the main door, but through a side door leading to the family's private dock on the beach. He sneaked into his sister Judy's room. He found her wearing her pajamas in front of the closet. With extreme coldness, he pulled out a pistol equipped with a silencer from his clothes. He fired a bullet into his sister's head, killing her instantly, and her body was piled inside the closet. Then, with the same coldness, he headed to the bedrooms of the rest of his family. There were 5 of them: his parents, his 2 brothers, and his younger sister. He shot them all while they were asleep. They all died while they were in a deep sleep, not knowing that they would sleep forever. It was a terrible massacre in which 6 people were killed for no reason. The film begins with this scene, and then we quickly see the police investigating in the next scene, with Ronald, who calmly tells them that an evil spirit has taken control of him and ordered him to kill his family, and that he did so based on the orders of that spirit. In the third scene, we see George Lutz reading an advertisement in the newspaper about a house for sale at a low price. George was recently married to Kathy, who had 3 children from a previous marriage. The 2 go to view the house. They are amazed by the house's beautiful design, luxurious furniture, swimming pool in the middle of its garden, and its private marina on the beach. Then they ask the broker about the price, only to be surprised that the asking price is only $80,000. George is skeptical about the price and says suspiciously, "But a house like this is worth no less than $120,000. Why this low price?" The broker hesitates a little, then tells them about the massacre that took place in this house exactly 13 months ago. George hesitates to buy, but his devout Catholic wife, who believes that everything is in God's hands, convinces him to buy. George gives in to her and pays the asking price, and the family moves to the new house. And from the first day, a series of strange and suspicious events begin. Kathy enters the kitchen to see that the refrigerator's magnetic poles have been rearranged in some way to form 2 words: catch 'em, kill 'em. Kathy goes up to the bedroom to discover that the $1,500 she had put on the dresser is gone. The next morning, one of the kids tries to open one of the windows, and suddenly the glass shatters, seriously injuring him in the hand. 2 days later, the mother finds a teddy bear being carried by her youngest daughter, Chelsea. The mother is surprised because the doll was never one of the child's toys and asks her about it. The child answers with the innocence of childhood. "It is my friend Judy's doll. She visited me in my room yesterday and played with me a lot. Then she left me her doll and left with a promise to come back again today." On the other hand, George was suffering from a feeling of extreme coldness in the house despite the moderate weather outside. He doubts the matter. He goes down the stairs to the basement to check the ventilation passages. He hears distorted sounds coming from the old oven. There, he finds an old TV and a clock whose hands have stopped at 3:15 in the morning. He finds the door overlooking their private harbor open, so he closes it tightly and returns to the living room again. For several days, Kathy suffers from nightmares in which she sees details of the horrific massacre that took place in the house. She wakes up sweating and is unable to sleep again. At 3:15 in the morning, she finds George suddenly wakes up and tells her that he feels very cold, and he has to check the port door, and he leaves her and goes down to the basement only to find the port door open. So he closes it tightly again, and the same thing happens again. Kathy's aunt comes to congratulate them on the new house, but she quickly runs away in panic after spending the night with them. Then a series of the most terrifying events begin. All the clocks in the house stop at 3:15 in the morning. The family dog barks madly and they never succeed in calming it down, and it even becomes hysterical and starts biting and scratching the air. Kathy sees a red-eyed ghost for a moment and then disappears, and George also sees the ghost of a girl who appeared behind Kathy and then quickly disappeared. One evening, everyone hears the screams of the children's nanny, Lisa, and when they rush to rescue her, they find her locked in the clothes closet, even though its door has no handle. Everyone struggles to break the closet, and when they finally get her out, she screams hysterically that the ghost of a girl appeared to her inside the closet and grabbed her finger and passed it through a deep hole in her head resulting from a gunshot wound. Then she falls unconscious. Then mud started leaking from the taps, nail holes and doorknobs without any explanation. Then there was blood that started leaking from the walls of the house. All these events prompted Kathy to ask for help from the local priest, Father Calloway. The father comes to help them and bless the house. He begins to recite his hymns and sprinkle holy water on the walls. As soon as he does, the holy water spills and swarms of flies surround him in a room. He flees in terror. However, he later tells Kathy that the teddy bear he saw with Chelsea belongs to Judy, the child who was killed by her brother, Ronald, along with the rest of the family. He knows that doll because Judy used to go to church with her mother weekly to perform prayers, and that the doll never left her. Then he tells her that he put that doll in the child's coffin with his hand before burying her because she died while holding it. He says that the matter is really serious and that he will ask for help from the higher church authorities. Then he goes to the church and prays for them. Part of the church ceiling collapses on him and he miraculously survives. Later we see the father involved in a car accident and his car is destroyed. Then he suffers from a strange stomach disease and blisters on his hand that attack him whenever he tries to contact Kathy. His fate ends with blindness, a nervous breakdown and madness. At the same time, Kathy notices that George's behavior has become extremely strange. He has become extremely nervous, violent with the children. He suspects that there is a relationship between her and her ex-husband. And of course, he completely neglects his work and projects. His partner comes to visit him with his wife to congratulate him on the new house and ask him about the secret of his absence and neglect of work. And everyone spends an evening that seems calm. But when the partner and his wife leave, we see his wife saying, "This house is uncomfortable, my dear husband. Not comfortable at all. And if you want my opinion, I do not like to enter it again." And the supernatural phenomena increase. Here, Kathy decides to research the history of this house. She goes to the public library and the municipal archives. There she discovers that the original owner of the house was a monk named Catchum, and that he killed many. The Indians were tortured and buried in the basement walls.